The Pacific Ocean roared beneath the Malibu cliffs, a wild counterpoint to the string quartet playing Pachelbel's canon. Salt stung my lips. Or maybe it was the ghost of tears I wouldn't let fall. 200 guests shimmered below in champagne and pastels, a watercolor painting of expectation. My father's arm felt solid beneath my trembling hand, and at the end of that impossibly long petal-strewn aisle, bathed in golden hour light, stood Daniel, my almost husband. The man I'd loved for 5 years. The man whose smile, right then, looked like a promise carved in stone. I should have been floating. Instead, I felt nailed to the ground by a single, brutal truth I'd uncovered just 15 minutes before. My name is Ava Rossi. I'm 27 years old, and 10 minutes ago I learned my wedding was a lie. Let me rewind. Because the real story doesn't start with the walk. It starts with a buzzing phone and a world cracking open. The bridal suite was chaos wrapped in ivory silk. 6 bridesmaids fluttered like anxious butterflies, adjusting hems, spritzing perfume, their laughter brittle with pre-ceremony nerves. Lavender chiffon, my choice, soft and romantic, swirled around them. My MOH, brie, my rock since freshman year of college, fussed with my cathedral veil. "Stop fidgeting, Ava. You're perfect. Daniel's gonna pass out when he sees you." I tried to smile, tried to breathe. My reflection in the full-length mirror was a stranger. Porcelain skin, swept-up blonde hair, a gown that cost more than my first car. A fairy tale princess. But beneath the satin and lace, a cold dread had been coiling in my stomach for weeks. Daniel working late. Texts answered with vague emojis. My best friend Chloe, always glued to her phone, her smiles at me lately, feeling strained. Paranoid, I'd scolded myself. Don't ruin your own happiness. Has anyone seen my lip gloss? Chloe's voice cut through the chatter. She materialized beside me, a vision in lavender, her dark hair artfully tousled. The one that matches my dress? I swear I left it here. Her eyes darted around, avoiding mine. Again. Not here, Chloe, Bree said, her voice tight. I caught the subtle glance she shot me. Bree had never warmed to Chloe, called her performative. I'd always defended her. She's my sister from another mister. She cried with me when my cat died. "Daniel texted," chirped Emily, another bridesmaid, holding up my phone. "He says he's freaking out, but in a good way." "Oh, and he left his phone charging in here by mistake. Wants someone to bring it down before the ceremony." My heart did a stupid little flip. See? He was nervous too. Human. Not a monster hiding in the shadows. "I'll grab it," I said, needing air, needing a second alone. "Be right back." I slipped into the suite's luxurious bedroom, away from the perfume and chatter. Daniel's sleek black phone sat on the nightstand, plugged in. As I reached for it, the screen lit up. A notification slid across the lock screen. Chloe. "Almost showtime, baby. Can't wait for tonight." Hotel room 312. This lavender dress is coming off. The second the boring part is over. Counting the minutes. The world didn't tilt. It shattered. Into a million jagged pieces that sliced through my lungs, my heart, my bones. Boring part, hotel room, baby. My mind scrabbled for purchase. A joke? A sick, twisted prank? My thumb, moving on pure, horrified instinct, hovered over the screen. I knew Daniel's passcode. Our first date, 0715. The lock screen dissolved. Our smiling faces from Greece vanished. The Messages app was open. No need to scroll far. The top thread was Chloe. Heart emoji beside her name. The words blurred, then snapped into horrifying focus. "Daniel, yesterday. Seeing you in that bridesmaid dress at the rehearsal. Knowing what's underneath. Fuck, Chloe. Can't wait to finally have you without hiding after today." Chloe. "I know. It's been torture playing happy bestie. But soon, once he's married, it'll be easier. She trusts us completely. We just have to be patient a little longer. Daniel. Worth it. Hotel 312. Midnight. Don't be late. This is our real beginning. Chloe. Our real beginning. After the boring part. Love you, baby. Boring part. My wedding. The day I'd dreamed of since I was 16. Our real beginning. Theirs. She trusts us completely. The knife twisted. Deeper. Crueler. Months. They'd been doing this for months. Planning it. Laughing at me. Using my wedding day as a cover for their first night truly together. While I picked out china patterns and wrote vows promising Daniel my forever. A sound escaped me. A choked gasp. Like a drowning animal. Nausea surged, acidic and violent. I stumbled into the ensuite bathroom, collapsing against the cold marble vanity. My reflection stared back, wide, hollow eyes, smudged with expensive waterproof mascara. The happy bride. The oblivious fool. How? The question screamed inside my skull. Chloe, my Chloe. The girl who held my hair back after prom night disasters. Who knew my deepest fears and biggest dreams. Who'd helped me choose this dress? And Daniel. Daniel, who whispered forever against my skin just last night. Who looked at me like I hung the moon. It was all ash. All lies. The foundation of my life crumbled beneath me, leaving me suspended over an abyss of pure, suffocating despair. The door cracked open. Bree stood there, her face instantly reading the devastation on mine. Ava? Honey, what's... Her eyes fell to the phone clutched in my white-knuckled hand, the damning messages still glowing on the screen. Her expression morphed from concern to fury. Oh my God, that bastard, that snake! She rushed to me, pulling me into a fierce hug. My body shook, rigid with shock. The tears wouldn't come, only a terrifying numbness spreading like ice water in my veins. They planned it, I rasped, my voice raw. Tonight. Hotel room 312, after the boring part. The words tasted like poison. Bree pulled back, gripping my shoulders, her eyes blazing. We're leaving, right now. Screw them. Screw this whole charade. I'll get the car. We'll disappear. Disappear. Run. Hide. Let them win. Let them have their sordid victory and their midnight rendezvous while I licked my wounds in the dark. The image flashed, Daniel slipping a ring on my finger, Chloe beaming beside us, both counting down the minutes until they could rip each other's clothes off. The despair deepened, a black tide threatening to pull me under. But then, something else sparked in the frozen depths. A tiny, defiant ember. No, you don't get to win. No, you don't get to humiliate me in silence. No, you don't get to turn my love into your joke. The ember flared, hot, bright, consuming the numbness, forging it into something cold, hard, and razor-sharp. A plan crystallized in my mind, crystal clear and terrifyingly simple. They wanted a show? They wanted an audience? Fine. They'd get one. I looked up at Bree, my voice suddenly steady, eerily calm. Give me your phone, open the camera. Bree blinked. What? Ava, honey. Do it, I said, the command quiet but absolute. Record the screen. Every message. Scroll slow. Get their names, the dates, the hotel room number. Get everything. Understanding dawned in Bree's eyes, followed by a fierce, approving gleam. She pulled out her phone, opened the camera, and hit record. I held up Daniel's phone, my hands unnaturally steady. I scrolled through the evidence of my annihilation, Chloe's explicit promises, Daniel's vulgar anticipation, their cold strategy of using my marriage as their cover. Every tap, every swipe, was captured by Bree's unblinking lens. Evidence, I whispered, more to myself than Bree. irrefutable. When we finished, I took a deep, shuddering breath. The despair was still there, a deep, aching bruise on my soul, but it was encased now in a shell of pure, glacial resolve. I handed Daniel's phone back to Bree. "Put this in my bouquet holder, concealed." Bree nodded, her movements swift and sure. She tucked the phone deep within the cascade of white roses and lilies. I looked at myself in the mirror again. The hollow eyes were gone, replaced by something ancient and unforgiving. I smoothed my gown, adjusted my veil. The mask of the happy bride slipped back into place, flawless. "Okay," I said, my voice a low hum of controlled energy. "Let's go get me married." The walk down the aisle felt like crossing a battlefield. Every crunch of sand under my satin heels echoed in the sudden, expectant hush. The scent of roses and salt hung heavy. Smiling faces blurred. My father squeezed my arm, radiating pride. All I saw was Daniel at the end, his expression one of awed love, perfectly practiced. And beside him, Chloe, her smile radiant, triumphant. She gave me a tiny, conspiratorial wink. Poor, oblivious Ava. I focused on Daniel, letting every ounce of love I'd ever felt for him pour into my gaze. Let him believe. Let him savor his victory. Inside, I was a glacier, silent, immense, and destined to crush everything in its path. I reached the altar. My father placed my hand in Daniel's. His skin was warm, slightly damp. "You look breathtaking," he murmured, his thumb stroking my knuckle. The intimacy felt like a violation. "So do you," I whispered back, the lie ash on my tongue. I squeezed his hand gently, holding his gaze. "Just wait." The officiant, a kindly-faced man named Reverend Harris, beamed at us. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate the union of Daniel Thorne and Ava Rossi." His words washed over me, meaningless noise. I kept my eyes locked on Daniel, my expression serene, a Mona Lisa smile playing on my lips. I felt Chloe's gaze like a physical weight. Almost there. Almost free. Reverend Harris turned to Daniel. "Daniel, do you take Ava to be your lawfully wedded wife? To have and to hold, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do you part?" Daniel's voice rang out, clear, confident, dripping with sincerity. "I do." He squeezed my hand again. "Traitor." Then the Reverend turned to me. "Ava, do you take Daniel to be your lawfully wedded husband? To have and to hold, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do you part?" A beat of silence stretched. 200 people held their breath. Daniel's smile tightened almost imperceptibly at the corners. Chloe shifted, her lavender dress rustling. This was the precipice, the moment before the avalanche. I let my serene mask slip, not into sadness, into something cool, detached, utterly unreadable. I turned slightly, not towards the Reverend, but towards the small microphone clipped to his oak lectern. "Reverend Harris." My voice, amplified slightly, cut through the silence. "May I borrow that?" "There's something I need to say before I answer." Confusion flickered across his face, but he nodded, ever gracious. "Of course, Ava." Daniel's grip on my hand tightened painfully. "Ava?" His voice was a low, warning hiss. "What are you doing?" I ignored him. I stepped forward, smoothly detaching my hand from his. The movement felt like shedding chains. I unclipped the microphone. The thump of my own amplified heartbeat filled the sudden electric quiet. Every eye was riveted on me. Whispers rippled through the crowd like startled birds. I faced them. My parents, bewildered. Bree, standing rigid among the bridesmaids. tears streaming down her face but her jaw set. Chloe, frozen mid-smile, eyes wide with dawning panic. Daniel, pale now, his perfect composure cracking. Then I reached into the heart of my bridal bouquet. My fingers closed around the cold, familiar shape of Daniel's phone. I held it aloft, the screen facing the crowd. I tapped it awake. The last message from Chloe glowed in the late afternoon sun for everyone to see. My voice, when it came through the speakers, was calm, clear, cold as Arctic ice. Before I answer that question, I think everyone deserves to know the truth about the man standing here and my best friend standing beside him. I tapped the screen again. Bree's recorded voice filled the air, reading Chloe's text aloud with deliberate, chilling clarity. Almost showtime, baby. Can't wait for tonight. Hotel room 312. This lavender dress is coming off. The second the boring part is over, counting the minutes. Gasps erupted, a collective intake of breath so sharp it hissed. Daniel lunged forward, face contorted in rage. "Ava, stop! That's private. It's not what it looks like." I didn't flinch. I simply raised the microphone, amplifying my voice over his. "Isn't it, Daniel?" I scrolled deliberately, slowly. "Let's see, how about this one? From you, yesterday." I read aloud, my voice dripping with contempt. "Seeing you in that bridesmaid dress at the rehearsal, knowing what's underneath. Fuck, Chloe. Can't wait to finally have you without hiding after today." More gasps, shouts of disbelief. My mother's choked sob echoed. Chloe made a strangled noise, clapping a hand over her mouth. Her date, Mark, surged to his feet, his face thunderous. I kept scrolling, kept reading. My voice, amplified and relentless, became the scalpel dissecting their sordid secret for the world to see. Their months-long affair, their mocking references to me, their plan to use my wedding day as the launch pad for their illicit relationship. The hotel room, booked for tonight. Chloe. I know. It's been torture playing happy bestie. But soon. Once he's married, it'll be easier. She trusts us completely. We just have to be patient a little longer. Daniel. Worth it. Hotel 312. Midnight. Don't be late. This is our real beginning. Our real beginning, I repeated into the mic, locking eyes with Daniel. His face was a mask of purple fury and utter humiliation. Chloe had crumpled onto the groomsman beside her, sobbing hysterically. After the boring part. My wedding. My vows. My life. My voice cracked then, just once, betraying the raw agony beneath the ice, the life you both used as your dirty little secret. The crowd was in uproar. Angry shouts directed at Daniel and Chloe, cries of shame. Reverend Harris stood stunned, his mouth agape. Security guards started moving towards the altar, unsure where to intervene. I had one final blow to deliver. I lowered the phone. The silence that fell was heavy, charged, waiting for the guillotine to drop. I looked directly at Daniel, his handsome face twisted into something ugly and unfamiliar. Then at Chloe, her perfect facade shattered into snot and tears. Finally, I turned back to Reverend Harris, gripping the microphone. "So, Reverend," I said, my voice ringing out, clear and strong over the murmuring chaos, "to answer your question." I paused. The entire world seemed to hold its breath. Daniel's eyes pleaded. Chloe whimpered. I met their gazes one last time, pouring every ounce of my shattered heart and newfound fury into my words. Number I do not. A collective gasp, louder than before. I straightened my spine, lifting my chin. The setting sun haloed me. "I choose," I declared, the words resonating with a power I didn't know I possessed, "to love myself today." I dropped the microphone. It hit the wooden platform with a jarring thud, Then I looked down at the bouquet in my hand, the symbol of love, fidelity, and a future that was pure fiction. With deliberate, unhurried slowness, I opened my fingers. The cascade of white roses and lilies tumbled down, landing at Daniel's polished black shoes with a soft, final rustle. Broken petals scattered like forgotten promises. I didn't look at him again. I didn't look at Chloe's crumpled form. I didn't look at the sea of shocked, sympathetic, or outraged faces. I turned. Head held impossibly high, the heavy train of my gown whispering over the sand, I walked back down the aisle. Alone. Behind me, the dam broke completely. Shouts, accusations, the sharp bark of security commands, Daniel's enraged roar. "A VA! Get back here!" Chloe's hysterical wails. The sound of a scuffle, Mark lunging for Daniel, held back by groomsmen. It was a symphony of chaos, the crashing finale to their carefully constructed lie. I didn't look back. The roar of the Pacific grew louder, matching the fierce, triumphant pounding of my own heart. I walked towards Bree, who stood waiting at the end of the aisle, tears streaming, but grinning fiercely. She threw her arms around me. "Let's get the hell out of here," she whispered, her voice thick. And as she led me away from the ruins of my wedding, my love, and my friendship, I felt it. Not happiness. Not yet. But something vital. Something unbroken. Myself. The escape was a blur. Bree whisked me through the bewildered crowd, past gawking guests and flashing phone cameras, into a waiting golf cart that sped us to the main hotel entrance. We didn't go back to the suite. We went straight to Bree's pre-packed getaway car, a beat-up Jeep she'd insisted on bringing, just in case of emergencies. Smartest decision ever. As she peeled out of the Malibu resort, leaving the chaos behind, the adrenaline began to ebb. The icy shell started to crack. By the time we reached the safe harbor of her aunt's secluded cabin in Big Sur, hours later, no internet, no cell service, just the primal roar of the ocean against cliffs, I collapsed. Great, heaving sobs racked my body, purging the poison of betrayal. Bree held me, silent and strong, as I mourned the Daniel I thought I knew, the Chloe I'd called sister, and the future that had evaporated. The despair was real. It was a deep, sucking wound. But it wasn't alone anymore. Woven through the pain was the fierce, undeniable thread of what I'd done. I'd fought back. I hadn't let them destroy me quietly. Days later, fortified by solitude, ocean air, and Bree's unwavering support, I turned on my phone. It exploded. Thousands of notifications, missed calls, texts, emails, social media mentions, news alerts, the video. My video. Someone in the audience had recorded the entire altar expose. It was everywhere, everywhere. Headlines screamed, "Bride's Wedding Day Revenge, reads cheating texts at altar." Malibu bride goes viral. I choose myself over cheating fiancé and best friend. Poetic justice, scorned bride's altar mic drop moment, defines self-love movement. My blog post, a raw, unfiltered account of the betrayal and my decision, posted the night of the wedding with Bree's recorded evidence attached, had millions of hits. The hashtag number I choose myself was trending globally. Messages poured in, not just shock, but an overwhelming tsunami of support. Thousands of women and men shared their own stories of betrayal, thanking me for my courage, telling me I'd given them strength. "You're an icon," one message read. "Kisses and karma delivered," said another. Daniel and Chloe? Their downfall was swift and brutal. Their identities were instantly known. Daniel was fired from his prestigious finance job. The video exposed not just his infidelity, but some unprofessional and misogynistic comments he'd made to Chloe. Chloe, an aspiring lifestyle influencer, saw her follower count evaporate overnight, replaced by a deluge of hate. Brands dropped her instantly. Their families issued terse statements distancing themselves. Rumors swirled they'd fled California, their relationship imploding under the weight of public shame and mutual recrimination. Hotel Room 312 became a meme symbolizing ultimate betrayal. Poetic justice? Absolutely. But the satisfaction was quieter than I expected, less about their suffering, more about the vindication. The world saw them for who they were, and they saw me as someone who refused to be a victim. 6 months later, I'm sitting in a sun-drenched cafe in Portland, Oregon. Rain glistens on the streets outside, a clean slate. The viral storm has calmed. The constant media requests have dwindled. But the number one I choose myself movement? It's thriving. I get stopped sometimes. Not for selfies, usually. For a quiet thank you. A woman tells me she left her abusive husband after seeing my video. A young man says he finally cut ties with a toxic friend. That's the real reward. I traded a diamond ring for a book deal, a memoir about self-worth after betrayal, not just about the wedding. I run a small, supportive online community called The Choosing Ground. It's my passion project, helping others find their voice, their strength, their self. Do I still hurt? Sometimes. The scar of that betrayal is deep. I have days where the loneliness bites, where the memory of Daniel's touch feels like a phantom limb, but they're just days, not my life. The icy fury that propelled me down the aisle has melted, leaving behind a resilient core I never knew I had. The love I lost. It pales beside the love I'm learning to give myself. Unconditionally. Daniel and Chloe? They're ghosts. Faded headlines. Last I heard, they split acrimoniously months ago, blaming each other for the nuclear fallout. Karma isn't always a lightning bolt. Sometimes it's the slow, inexorable erosion of a life built on lies. As I sip my coffee, watching the rain cleanse the city, I feel it. Not the frantic excitement of a wedding day, but a deep, quiet certainty. I chose myself that day on the altar, and every day since, I choose myself again. The revenge was sharp, public, and deeply satisfying. But the real victory? It's this peace, this unshakable knowledge that I am enough, that I always was.
And that's the sweetest karma of all.